Hey community, what's going on? Clint Turner here. If you're new, my name is Clint Turner. Glad you're joining us for a little bit. I'm the owner of Away Land Company as well as, there it is, Learn.land, a company who can help you start, scale, or grow your land investing business. Hey, in today's video, we have a really cool cutout of one of our mastermind calls from just a couple months back where we're talking about, in my opinion, what I think is the secret sauce to growing your land business, and it's how to create a team that will help you focus on a consistent flow of acquisitions, consistent flow of opportunities in your business. I see this all the time. People will spend so much time in acquisitions and they acquire a bunch of properties and they have to spend all this time on dispositions and sales, and it's a real back and forth measure. And from what I've seen from our clients that have grown to 6, 7, even 8 figures, is that the most important thing is the ability to consistently generate opportunities. And so in this video, we're gonna cut out like 10 or 15 minutes of a mastermind call we did where I talk about the core functionalities of an acquisitions team and why it's so important. So if you get value from this video, we'd really appreciate if you subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, but also leave a comment. Let me know if you like this style of video. I'll be honest, sometimes creating brand new content is not my favorite thing to do, but in the course of our business, we create a lot of amazing content and things to watch. And so some of these are snippets out of some of the day-to-day ops and meetings that we have. So if you like this style of video, please let me know and we will keep them going. Okay, hopping into the video. See you on the other side.
All right, so let me jump in over here. I want to pull up, I may have something to offer on content from Michael. Look forward to that in just a sec, Michael. So let's go over to our team structure here. This is an ever-evolving document. But if you've been with me, I have actually just changed this document recently with some feedback from Matt Bailey. It just helped quite a bit. And this is what I've learned, not just from Matt, but from anybody you talk to in the high volume lead space, is that your acquisitions folks should not be your main comping resource. I want to settle on that one more time. The goal of building a solid acquisitions team, right? The goal of building that team is so that with minimal effort from you, you have a consistent flow of opportunities, right? What are the main things that make that happen? I'll pull this resource up. So this is the high level resource or the high level workflow of what somebody does in an acquisitions role, like the process of going from new lead to under contract, right? These are the main high level points that you're going to hit along the way. And just have heads up, all the stuff is in various modules somewhere. So I'll show you where in just a bit. But right, so what are the things we have to do? New leads come in, we have to ensure we have the info, name, follow-up stuff, APN county. We got to learn how to analyze land at a maybe a little more than a rudimentary level. The red flags, the things we're looking for, the checklist we want them to go over, called the facts check, right? But this is something that we train them on. Okay, setting price, obviously, I'm going to come back to that. And then the meat of the work, like this whole thing here takes about 12 minutes once you get good at it. This is the variable down here that can make something take 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, right? And if you saw, I made a Facebook post, I think we sent out an email the other day. I was going to razz Jessica a little bit, but I won't. We put this out the other day, and I really did a breakdown on like, hey, if you want to hit a certain level of income, right? What is the true level of work that's required to get there, right? What's the true level of work? I wonder if I have that here. Well, hey, it's right there. Right. And if you didn't see this, I said, hey, if you want to make $500,000 next year, right? Here's some assumptions that I know to be very true. It's going to cost you about $1,000 in marketing. You generally get around 25 leads per that. If you set this as your benchmark, this is the average amount of time we see it takes to work a lead across trash leads, average leads, and converting leads normally. And again, this is not the process of coordinating the transaction, getting it to close, getting all the photos and stuff. This is just the literal work of this here, of getting the new lead and prepping it, comping it, and getting it under contract, right? The actual amount of time you spend on a lead, you may think it seems a lot longer, but at the end of the day, for that one lead, it really does not take that long. This takes around 15 minutes. And then depending on the cadence of follow-up, it could be 20 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, it could be an hour. But we see on average with my team, it's around 3/4 of an hour. If I just look at their performance throughout a month, how many leads they prepped, how many leads came in, normally comes down to about about 45 minutes per lead on average. And again, this is not transaction coordinating. Okay, this is just to get the contract. And then there's your margin, generally like for all your business systems and such. So what do we come out with here? I'm going to fast forward through all this stuff and just say the time. Okay, the time, 892 hours, that divided by a 40-hour work week, and that divided by 52, that's like 40% of your year, right? 40% of the work effort it takes to grow this business comes in the process of the follow-up and I call it the dirty work it takes to get leads to contract. Okay. So I show you this because it is, can I zoom in a bit? Sure, Colin. What? You don't have like superhuman eyes? Okay. So those are the assumptions I told you about. And here's everything I was talking about. So to make that much at this margin, we're going to get about 1,200 leads. The amount of time on average it's going to take to work those, about 900 hours. That's going to be about 40% of your year. Okay. This is why we talk all the time about the yo-yo, right? The yo-yo, the back and forth. If you do not have this part of your business focused, only this part, like we're not even talking about transaction coordinating. We're not even talking about the research and the comping, well, a little bit of the comping. We're not even talking about the mail. Like we're not talking about the rest of the process. This is just the calling, the following up. And I've just learned this just because I've drove myself crazy over the years, like spending too much time on this. At the end of the day, when you can master this team, this is when your business grows. Because at the end of the day, if you have a machine that can bring you good opportunities with minimal input from you, you can fumble through the rest. You can fumble through a closing. You can fumble through listing a property below market value in order to generate a lot of leads. Like you can fumble through sales. You can fumble through all of it. Everybody gets hung up on acquisitions. And the reason you don't find consistency is because you don't have the team in place. And the root cause of that is you don't have someone on your team to fulfill these 7 main tasks, right? And I'm sure different people may have a different workflow. I've looked at Matt's workflow. He's the definition of an engineer. It's got 700 different boxes on it. But at the end of the day, we can mostly agree that this is the main functions, the tasks that need to be done. How they get done, that can vary. But if you don't have somebody doing these, then your attention comes back here. Simply put, if you want to grow the business, your attention continually comes back here. And this is all $20 to $30 an hour work, really $10 to $30 an hour. Okay. And so we don't want to have our effort there. So I show this to you to hopefully outline why you need to have this, because it simply just takes so much time in your business. All right. Now, where I used to be, and in fact, just 2 short weeks ago, this PowerPoint looked like this. Okay. This PowerPoint looked like this. I did not have this research position in here. Okay. I kind of had my land specialist would help with comps and such. And that's part of their role as I defined it. But what I found is, man, that's just even further dragging my decision makers in my business down. Just a quick aside. I was chatting with Joe earlier today. I don't know if Joe's here. I was chatting with Joe earlier today, and we were talking about like, what is a land specialist, this term we use. And at the end of the day, a land specialist in my mind is somebody that can make decisions for you. Okay. Somebody that can make the majority of the high level decisions in a deal, can make those for you, or can mimic your decision-making process to bring you the tip of the spear information, right? That's really what it looks like a little more. And so if you don't have that, like at the end of the day, if somebody isn't empowered to make the decisions, then really they're not a land specialist at the end of the day. They're more of an individual contributor role, like something down here. And so what I've found is that getting this person, and this is a little different take than Matt will have, but getting this person trained is often a result of being a master of these things. All right. Because as you grow your business, like for me, for example, I'm not just doing like rural land flips anymore. Like I have 3 different development subdivide projects in the pipeline for 2022. My land specialist is somebody that I trust, that understands the majority of that process and can help me make decisions, updates, et cetera, along the way. It's somebody who can look at a deal and who can say that does or does not meet our investment criteria for this reason. And based on XYZ right now, we do or do not want that deal, right? As you can see, kind of a overlap in these positions as I'd say that, but they need to have that capability. If they don't have the capability to make that decision, they can never get here. Therefore, that's why this is a really important role. And so I'm going to dive on one more topic on this, and then I want to open it up for questions and a little discussion. Is I have found in all the people who are much more rich and much smarter than I in this space, real estate that is, that have acquisition teams that work full time, they all tell you separate coordination, separate the intake team from the research team. Because really at the end of the day, it is kind of two different areas. Like it's two like different centers of your brain. And people are going to be genetically, I guess is the right word, disposed towards one or the other. They're kind of opposite skill sets. One's like in the weeds, looking at comps, looking at spreadsheets. The other one is on the phone, slinging deals, right? So they are different, and they don't really complement each other. And I mean, unless you got the perfect person. I really have not seen a benefit in having your decision maker on your pricing, if you will, be the same person that's doing your coordination. And I do have a theory on this that it's helpful from a workload standpoint if this person gets the basics of comping. But at the end of the day, I think it serves you better, and your team will flow significantly smoother by having somebody on your team. And oftentimes, guys, this is you if you're growing, right? Like you are the one that's going to set the price at the end of the day. And as you grow and as you add more people in, then you can remove that role from yourself. But this is kind of it's a very important role, but it's also an individual contributor role, where if you find somebody who's good with spreadsheets, who's good in the weeds like that, they're often they're a good fit for this research position.